Guys, so the phone died, so I'm just gonna go ahead and talk a little bit. So I was talking about, I have every test, so I can test the parameters, phosphate and nitrate and nitrite and ammonia and even calcium and KH and yeah, pH. I got all types of tests. So definitely check your parameters of the water. Hell yeah. So I don't want to drag on the video too long, so a little recap about all that. Salt water is really cool. It has the ability to really complete the nitrogen cycle within it, which makes your work easier for you, especially if you have a proper filtration system. And my recommendation would be a refugium, even on top of a protein skimmer, because a refugium will also remove phosphates and stuff like that, and make the water nice and clean. But a protein skimmer removes more of a fatty stuff like proteins, and so protein skimmer is very necessary too. But people with under 40-gallon tanks, they can do water change every week. It's more affordable. But when you're working with 75, anything bigger than 60 gallons, 100, 200, to do a 30% water change, you're spending $80 at Petco for a 5-gallon thing of salt. What I'm saying? That goes pretty quick, and you're like, wow. So you want good filtration to keep your nutrients in check, and so your water doesn't get muggy and a big film on top, protein skimmer and stuff like that. So you don't have to do a lot of water changes. And then also carbon is necessary. Now in a freshwater tank, you're doing water changes so often, you're doing it once a week, because you're not completing the nitrogen cycle, so your nitrates build up, and within 1 week they're already above 40 ppm. Some people have heavy tanks and they get well above 40 ppm, and they're doing 50% water changes every week. Now imagine you got 10 tanks, what I'm saying? Yeah, that's 6 hours. No lie, I used to have 10 tanks too, and work 6 hours a week doing water changes and working. I loved it to death. But I'm really striving for a ultra low maintenance system with the saltwater tank, because you don't want to have your hands in there that often and mess with parameters and all this crazy stuff, right? Right. So damn, I keep talking way too much, guys. I'm so sorry. I keep losing train of thought. So you definitely want to keep up with the carbon. In a freshwater tank, you don't have to, because you're working with it so often every week. But in the freshwater, you're not. You're doing maybe, if you have an ultra low maintenance system, you've got a refugium, or you have a really big sand bed that's housing a lot of anaerobic material, or if you're doing my method where you're using big rocks instead of smaller rocks, like really big porous rocks where the center of it is not getting that much water flow through it, that means you can house anaerobic material. You're doing that method with a refugium and a protein skimmer. There's a lot of different methods on really completing the nitrogen cycle within a saltwater tank. In a freshwater tank is possible too. If you really have a display and you put 8 inches of sand in it, you're gonna see, half your tank is gonna be sand, but it's gonna really house anaerobic bacteria within that sand. But nobody likes to do that. And then sumps are not that popular with freshwater tanks, so there are not a lot of people have sand beds. I'm sorry, running out of breath. So ultra low maintenance system in a saltwater tank definitely requires you replacing carbon and keeping up with the carbon. So that is the recap. Regular carbon is really good. ChemiPure just has a little bit extra in it with exchange resins, stuff like that, so it will help to filter out a little bit more. So if you can afford the better carbon ChemiPure, I would recommend getting the ChemiPure over regular carbon. But regular carbon for me worked great, as long as I don't go crazy with it and overfeed it like I did within the last week of the test. Things did get a little bit out of control. I'm going to kind of watch it. I checked all the parameters, everything seems fine, so that cyanobacteria algae should reside by itself. If not, I get in there if it starts growing. And I might even leave the lights off for 1 day. That should kill it too. Coal should be okay. Alright, YouTube, before I just keep on dragging on this video forever and ever, I wish y'all an awesome night, and y'all be good. Laters.